Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wonderful to have you here. Please
Great
welcome Pat McGrew. She arrived yesterday, coming directly from the States. I think you live close to the Rocky Mountains?
Denver. Yeah.
Denver? Yeah. Which is quite of close, yeah.
It is. I can see them out my window.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So please sit down.
Thank you.
And I don't have hashtags for you. Because...
I'm heartbroken myself.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because why?
No, I have hashtags.
Oh, okay.
So
I feel better now because I was really worried there for a minute.
it's something like wonderful, amazing. You know, that's why I didn't create it.
So
It's
let me
something
get
like
this straight. So
better
Jacob gets the really cool ones, and Naresh gets the really cool ones, and I get wonderful? I mean, it's okay, right? But yeah.
No.
Sorry to interrupt. It was wonderful workflow. We just didn't.
Wonderful workflow. Okay, yeah, right. Wonderful workflow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I'd do it differently, and you will get your hashtags. Don't worry.
Okay.
If somebody would ask you, who do you want to be as a singer?
Yeah.
What would you answer? I have 3 options.
Okay.
Taylor Swift, Madonna, or the opera singer Maria Callas. Or maybe because of your outfit, Patti Smith.
Oh, yeah, Patti Smith could work, yeah. As a singer, so I think I'm going to go Taylor Swift, although I do love a good Maria Callas aria. And I honestly, you can't go wrong with Madonna early years, I think, right? Yeah, early years. But Taylor Swift has brought a new edition of mixing business and genres. So is she pop, is she country, what is she exactly? She's everything. She understands her market that she's writing for. She speaks to it, and she merchandises to it, right?
Yeah.
So how many kids do you know that have the friendship bracelets, right?
Yeah, and they call themselves the Swifties.
Yeah, and I mean, who doesn't want to be
So
Swift?
we are the Patties, by the way.
Well,
Pat McGrew and Patties.
yeah, I mean, I am one. Yeah.
But, you know, it was a serious question because I really admire you because of your voice and the way you pronounce language. It's so clear. It's so wonderful to listen to you. I think you can tell bullshit because of your voice. It's so beautiful.
Oh, I do every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my job. So I was born and raised in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is known for a very odd accent. You know the word W-A-T-E-R? So say it. Water. Yeah, I did. Some got the joke, right? So I had to learn out of that because I did university in New Mexico. And they couldn't understand a word I said. So I would call home just to listen to the accent every once in a while, like call my mom, call my brother. But I had to learn not to speak that way.
Yeah, but you know, you are so perfect in the way you pronounce. It's so understandable.
I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah. And therefore, I thought, if we have that body, you are the heart. And also Taylor Swift, if they would deal with the print business, they would have invented print sample.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And again, we can do songs about print samples. We can do songs about workflow. We can do songs about inkjet. We can do songs about web to print, web to pack, web to jacket, web to whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, but in my opinion, we can skip the Trooper song, you know.
It depends which year, right? Some of them I
That's
like,
right,
some
yeah.
of them some were better than others.
Sometimes it's so candy.
No, those are the best ones. The ones that are really corny Drupa songs, right? Anybody follow the Cult of Drupa songs on Facebook? Yeah, I thought you might. So if you follow the Cult of Drupa songs on Facebook, we all wait avidly as we're running up to a Drupa to see what the next one's going to be. But you can go back to the old ones, and some of the old ones are kind of catchy. And if you were working Drupas, like in 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, like I was, and it was the first thing you heard every morning, and the last thing you heard every night, they stick in your brain, but some of them that was good sticking and some it was bad sticking. So, yeah, it depends.
And what brought you to live close to Denver? Because when I heard
My house
Philadelphia-
burned down.
Your husband?
My house burned down. So I lived in Texas for 25 years. And I built my company there, and then sold my company, and then started doing other things.
What kind of company?
So I did high-speed printer data stream transforms.
Oh.
So you had a pretty Xerox machine, and the nice IBM printing systems person wanted to sell you a machine. They came to us for the software that would allow you to take your metacode and put it on the AFP printer, right? And then we worked closely with John Warnick to make sure that we could also do PDFs. So we did that for 10 years. We sold it. That code still runs today. It is currently owned by OpenText. It went through a couple of owners after we sold it. But in May of 2003, I had a house that I had bought, and I loved it. It had a swimming pool, and it had some land around it, and it was one floor, no steps. I thought that was cool. My dog loved it. It had a guest house for my mom, and I had my mom move down. And in June of 2003, in the middle of the night, the transformer in the air conditioning system, which I never turned on because I'm not a fan of air conditioning, exploded in the ceiling of the hallway through the electrical load at the primary inbound junction box for the electricity to the house, which then exploded in the garage right on top of 4 5-gallon tanks of petrol that were there for my 36, 52, and 58 MGs, and a 1966 window special Cadillac, which all then burned to the ground. On the driveway were 2 MX-5s and a Protege 5 as well, which also, you ever seen a Miata melt? It's really kind of bad. So, so basically, I ended up with an 8-alarm fire in my house at 3 in the morning. And the fire department worried that it was going to get into the trees on the property and take out the entire neighborhood. And on the walls were my collection of fine art, black and white photography, and my animation cells. So, and my first edition Sherlock Holmes. So the very nice firefighters came, and they scraped as much off the walls as they could and threw it out the back into the pool. Oddly, it saved a lot of them. Didn't save all of them, saved a lot of them. My souvenir of the fire is one of the pieces that fell and got buried in the ashes. And it's a Berenice Abbott airship photograph that the glass actually fused to the silver halide in the photograph. So it's now vacuum sealed and reframed, and it sits by my front door. It's the souvenir of the fire. The interesting thing about having your house burned down is all the things you realize that you don't know about your life, right? So how many of you back up your personal laptops and your personal computers? Yeah? Yeah. So I was doing that. I was backing up this computer to this computer on the same desk. Yeah. So guess what? Yeah, they all burned. And yeah, so there you go. How many of you, anybody still have boxes of photographs? Yeah, lost my entire son's growing up, all of it. And all of my parents' photos, which had just come to me. Yeah, lost all that too. Lost my Barbie dolls. They were in the attic. Yeah. Lost all my dad. My dad was a machinist, and I lost all his tools in the garage. You ever seen a Craftsman wrench, socket wrench, where the only thing left is the C in Craftsman? And they say they'll replace them for a lifetime. But if you take only the C in, they won't give you another ratchet. And in fact, if you take them a box of ash, they will not give you new tools. We asked, but they got to deal with an insurance company for 2 years trying to get settlement on things like, anybody do Christmas trees? You have Christmas ornaments? Yeah, right. Yeah, I collected them everywhere I went in the world. So I told the insurance company I thought there was maybe $10,000 worth of Christmas ornaments. And they said, "No, it's too much." Yeah, you go to Walmart, you buy them for $2. I mean, how can you have that many? So we're technology people, right? So asked all my friends who had ever sent a picture of my Christmas tree to send me those pictures back. We scanned them. My business partner wrote a program to identify every image on the tree. We then built a spreadsheet with all those images, and his wife spent months going through eBay and any place else she could find to get a value on replacing as many of them as we could. $37,000 is what they ended up having to pay me for my Christmas tree ornaments. Yeah, so we got a little off topic, but yeah. So I moved to Denver because the house burned down, and it seemed like the state of Texas had told me I had overstayed my welcome. Wow. So I decided to try again in a different state.
So you lost a lot, but you are never losing your positive thinking. Is that right?
You can't. No people or pets were harmed in the making of this tragedy. And I got a lot of really cool disaster recovery presentations out of it, because I could use pictures of this, how high you might, maybe you think you're backing your things up, but hi, let me show you what not to do. And, we all got smarter. We got smarter about a lot of things in our personal lives. And, we lost a lot of cars in that one, and I swore we were never going to have that many cars again. They just kept following us home. And I said, we're done with that. And my son was starting college in Colorado, so that's why Colorado. So, Colorado, yeah.
And you lived there since
2003.
2003, so more than 20 years.
Yeah, I feel like an old timer now.
Yeah.
But they don't let me have one of those license plates that say native Coloradan. They're very touchy about that. They are.
Yeah, I know that area. I have been there. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit far away. You travel so much.
But it's not. I mean, so Mike, how long does it take us to get to the airport, right?
It takes me about 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm like 20 minutes from it. I mean, we have a really excellent airport in Denver, and we can get anywhere. What you flew? You were on my flight from Denver to Frankfurt, so we pop in all the way to Frankfurt all the time, right? And I can fly direct to a lot of places around the world, or one stop to the rest of it. So it's a pretty good base point.
And it's not so crowded.
It's not as crowded. I mean, I grew up in Philadelphia. I didn't want to live there. It's too crowded, and I like the big open sky that we get in Colorado. It's, I grew up with it. You didn't really think about the sky. And then now, I'm out. I went to college in New Mexico, then Texas, then Colorado, big sky country. I just have gotten addicted to it.
And after all those years, do you still like what you do?
People keep asking me when I'm going to retire. And I would imagine Jacob gets that question. I'm sure Naresh gets that question. A lot of us get that question because as we get older, the assumption is that we're all working to retire. I can't imagine not doing what I'm doing every day. Now, I don't do the same thing any 2 days in a row. I have a handful of clients that we serve. We don't do the same thing for any two of them. We don't have the same conversations with any two of them. Because I work with a gentleman called Ryan Maccabee. Some of you know him. He was ex-Heidelberg trainer. He was my partner in crime when we were running the workflow practice at Keypoint Intelligence, Infotrends. And at COVID, we were both informed that our services were no longer required. So, hung a shingle out and tried to find people who needed what we knew. And, for the last 4 years, we've been lucky to find a lot of people who need to know what we know, but everybody wants different pieces of our brain. Some want our workflow expertise, some want our market expertise, some want our strategic triage expertise, so we have a lot of fun. And I can do that from Colorado, and he's in Western North Carolina.
What do you say? What is the secret of your motivation? Because I think you are, for me, most impressive because you always are in a good mood and motivated and curious, and you want to explore things and you enjoy things. So it's fantastic. So my hashtag is dynamic.
Mark, am I always in a good mood?
Surprisingly so.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. That was not the answer I was looking for. So I think it's because I do love what I do. Yeah, there you go. Mark and I have been attached at the hip for almost 2 decades now, doing the same thing. At the end of the day, I love the ability to tell stories. Because if you ask me what I do for a living, I tell stories. I was trained as a journalist, trained as a writer, wiggled my way into technology when I just became enamored with standardized, generalized markup language. Anyone remember SGML? I fell in love with it, right? And compiled composition engines like Script, Waterloo Script, what IBM then called DCF, Zix, right? All of those things. I became fascinated with what they could do to create formatted communication. I spent a little time in TV news. I decided I didn't like lying to people because it turns out when you work in TV news, you're not actually allowed to tell the story you see. There's always an ownership issue there who have an axe to grind. So I exited stage left and went to work for Car Magazine for a little while and a music magazine for a while. But then I landed at a company, after working with oil field drawworks and compounds, that was good fun. I ended up working for a company called Image Sciences, which was one of the companies that brought VDP technology into the insurance industry initially. We partnered with Xerox, we partnered with IBM Printing Systems then, and Siemens, to bring on-the-fly, real-time, variable data merging to insurance policies. And that solution, which was called DocuMerge, is now owned by Oracle, and they would love to kill it, but they can't, because they've never found a way to replace it. So that kind of got me into the technical nerd mode, and I worked there for a while. I was there 5 years, but I kept getting more and more interested in the print streams and the file formats and trying to explain the power of them. The person who became my business partner had been the director of R&D where I worked. And we ended up writing a book for Macmillan on using mainframes to create formatted customer communication. And out of that, we found some people who were interested in what we knew, and we formed a company, and that's the company that I ran as CEO for 10 years.
Oh, and therefore in your print mind map, T is technology?
Yeah.
So are you dedicated to it, or is it more
It's
or
a tool.
less that you want people to have the best learning and experiences using technology?
Technology by itself doesn't solve a problem.
Right.
It takes thought, it takes strategy, it takes the ability to define the problem and work to solve a problem, not work to show off the fact that you can write some fancy code. So for me, technology is a tool and an enabler, but alone, it doesn't really move our industry forward. ChatGPT does not move us forward, right? It's It's learning how to write the right kind of prompt to a large language model or a multimodal model, or to learn how to use embeddings that makes it a powerful tool. AI, machine learning by itself, was never the end goal. It was a way to help machines, to learn from the machines and then teach the machines back how to be better machines. That's where technology plays for me.
And I think that's great.
I love it. It's why, I mean, I'm never bored, right? This is an industry. If you're bored in this industry, you should go. Retirement is a good idea, because there is something new on the horizon every single day. If we think back, 5, 6 years ago, we weren't talking about ChatGPT. There were a lot of us nerdy people who would talk about using AI in the print industry for different reasons, for preventive maintenance, for, machine level things, for trying to figure out how to create brand new source from legacy print files for which the source is no longer a viable way to maintain it. But those were, bar conversations. Now we can do it.
And that leads me to your word covering the P in print. It's persuasion. What do you mean by that?
Persuasion. So the power of print is the power to persuade. So I want everybody close your eyes for a second. Imagine walking into a food store and there is nothing printed. So there's no labels, there's no brands on the juice boxes, there's no labels on the cans, there's no tags to tell you how much things cost, there's no signage to tell you what aisle you're in. So open your eyes now and imagine that same grocery store, the ones you walk into all the time, right? It's night and day difference. How do you know what to buy if it doesn't have a label on it? How do you know how much it costs if there's no tag, right? That's the power of print. And if it's done well, if it's designed well, if it uses all the things that G was talking about this morning, you use the power of behavioral science paired with design science and paired with the technologies we have available to us, that's the power of persuasion. And I mean, I'm a storyteller. I want to tell stories. I want to persuade people. But print sure helps me do it better.
Cool. And then we have the R. So we learned the R is not retirement.
No, it's
you wrote down restoration.
Because
yeah.
I feel like I'm constantly restored by the problems that get posed. The problems that get posed, we get the weird phone calls, right? So anybody can answer a question. Gee, can you make a recommendation of a VDP engine? Sure, I can make 20 of them. Tell me what problem you're trying to solve, and then I'll direct you to a handful of tools. But when we get the phone calls that are, hi, we just discovered we were sued, and we have to thaw out print files that are 30 years old, and we're done with IBM's DCF product, and all we have are the .command files. We don't have a printed version of it because we didn't archive an image because nobody told us we had to, and DCF was going to be around forever. Guess what? It's not. Now what do? Those are the cool calls. Luckily, those are the ones where we get paid, so that's good too. But those are, there's an awful lot of restorative value in being able to solve the hard problems in our industry. It's the fun stuff. It's the stuff that everybody you've heard speak today talks about, and everybody does. We all just do it a little bit differently, and we do it weirdly.
Good approach, I think.
Sure.
And then we have, for sure, the I for innovation.
Yeah.
And is innovation something good or bad, complex or simple, or?
Sometimes it's stupid. Sometimes we over-innovate. Sometimes we look to innovate in areas when simplicity would do the job just fine, thank you, and we should be spending time on other things. Sometimes we innovate just to say we can. Hey, look what we did, right? Look at me, look at me. I think innovation is best when we're solving problems that need to be solved and have material value to the consumer of that solution. That's where I want to see innovation continue to grow.
Do you agree if I say innovation is very complicated because an innovator creates something and others are not able to see it because we only see what we have learned? How do you...
That's why innovators need people like me to help tell the story. Because the innovation is only as good as the story you can tell about it and the value you can bring to it.
And is that the driving motor for you?
Oh, yeah.
And
It's the financial motivation, too. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, we're a 1.5 person company. You know, we've got to make money somehow, so telling stories is a big part of it.
yeah, I thought maybe we are similar. So my business model was always rent my brain.
Yeah.
And brain and voice.
Oh, we know what we are. We're just going to negotiate cost. Many of you are smiling because you know where that comes from. But that's what it is. I mean, because we know things, we know how to say things. So I love engineers. I love the way they think. I love the way they map things together. But ask an engineer to explain how something works, and you get the technical explanation. And that's not going to help you sell it. It's not going to help you market it. You need to explain the value proposition of what it enables. That's what you need a storyteller for.
Great. And then we have still the N. And you wrote
Nuance.
nuance.
Yeah. Because print allows you to live in nuances. It can be big and bold and in your face, or it can be quiet and thoughtful. And it can be a project like Naresh took on, trying to create the font families that they needed for all the Indian languages. Or it can be, you know, op art. It can be anything. And the value of print in the world is the ability to bring nuance to every form of communication, whether it's wall-size banners, banners hanging from helicopters, or a small card of remembrance at a funeral.
And in that sense, what is your favorite print sample you presented?
That changes every week. People keep bringing me cool stuff. And God bless you folks who brought me print samples here. I guess I have a reputation. Thank you, Patrick, for the table. I think some of the best print samples are the ones that are evocative. And one of the ones we filmed yesterday is a label. It's a sticker, right? It's just a little round sticker. It's about this big. I have a roll of them. No two stickers on the roll are the same. And they were done by kids in Pennsylvania as part of an art project that was sponsored by Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, ahead of the election. They wanted to be able to give people I voted stickers. That's a thing in the US. You walk around advertising the fact that you voted, even though, I mean, everybody should vote. But okay, you know, I voted, fine, I'll wear the sticker. What they did is they had kids respond to some prompts and create some art around voting and I voted and letting the sun shine in. We have what we call sunshine laws. So those labels were printed by DMR Graphics in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. For those of you who follow the internet or LinkedIn, Jamie the printer, Jamie McLennan did that. They won some awards with it because of just the value chain that they created. And then the stickers got to be a thing. So then everybody wanted that sticker. I don't know if you had to vote, if you had to prove you voted to get the sticker, but everybody, they were getting phone calls, they wanted the stickers. And they ran out of the stickers. So I managed to get some. But the stickers, it drew together for me the kids that were in, you know, the 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds who were doing the artwork with the voting process for their civic duty to help them understand that there was power in the vote process. It drew them to design, and they were able to go see their stickers being printed right on the flexo presses. and they got to see a print shop, right? Imagine being 7 years old and going into a print shop, right? Really cool. So maybe we just created a whole new generation of printers. I'm hoping we did. And that one, that sticks with me. I like that one.
Do you have certain parameters you need to qualify the
I have to love it.
You have to love it.
Yeah, you're fundamentally getting stuff Pat loves. And stuff that I find intriguing. We did years ago, we did the TV set thing. So Morton found a supplier that created an LED TV inside of a print piece. And he put a bunch of episodes of Print Sample TV and other films on it. And it was, for you, it was a sales piece, right? I mean, effectively, it was a marketing piece. But I love that we did one of the Print Sample TVs on it because it was linking digital and print in a weird way because it wasn't a QR code or a personalized URL or an AR VR trigger. It was actually the TV in the piece, and it was reprogrammable. It was really cool.
So honestly, I have to say I'm always having my favorite print sample with me. It's here. It's a little book.
I like your book.
It's industrial manufactured. It has text in it.
I like that. That's perfect.
And it's almost 25 years old. So a guy, I don't know the name, made it possible to have this industrial bookbinding process to manufacture that. And you can get it in Mainz in the Gutenberg Museum in the meantime. And it's the smallest book in the world, produced on industry scale.
I've not been to the Gutenberg Museum, and there's a very good reason why, because I've been to Mainz. I know that if I go into that gift shop, I will come out broke.
But you have to wait, it's in restoration.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's okay. That just makes me safer for a few more years, I think.
Not restoration, restauration. Like Italians would say, in restauro, Exactly. That's a big sign in always any building in Italy, in restauro. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, time is running so fast. I could talk for hours, but
sadly, so
I think people also want to contribute, and if not here in the public, then maybe in the lobby.
there are
Do you
adult
have
beverages.
questions? It's your chance to ask a question to Pat McGrew, and I'm sure she will answer it. So,
If I don't know, I'll make it up. I think we all want those adult beverages, don't we? Yeah.
I think,
I think
maybe
that's fair.
maybe Patrick, he's always so skeptical. Maybe you have a good question. What do you
Oh,
think?
he brought me a print sample. He's my hero. He's one of my heroes for this event. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you already have a relationship.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, who doesn't know Patrick? Let's start there. Right?
That's true. Yeah. I said if he spent a special applause, I pay him $20. And so do your job. Sometimes you need what we call claqueur.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Not yet. So, Pat, what would you like to say, or what answer would you give to a question nobody was ever asking you? Because it's a non-event and a non-award, so it's something like a non-conversation.
Yes, I really am this short. Despite what you may have seen on the internet, no matter how tall I looked in those LinkedIn videos or the Inkish videos or Print Sample TV, I really am 5'1". Yeah, and yes, the dress I'm wearing is 30 years old. So there you go.
Wonderful.